Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel, Fluent Pro Hub.
Hello, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to Fluent Pro Hub, the podcast that makes learning English easy, fun, and stress-free. I'm your host, Emily, and with me is my amazing co-host, Ethan.
Hey everyone, it's so good to be here again. I hope you all are doing great and staying motivated on your English learning journey.
Yes, and speaking of that, tell me, my friends, how's your English learning going? Feeling stuck? Tired of practicing every day but still struggling to speak fluently?
I bet some of you are nodding your heads right now, thinking, yes, that's me. Well, let me tell you something. You are not alone. We all feel this way at some point. But here's the good news. If you're feeling frustrated, it only means you're trying. And if you're trying, my friend, you are already winning.
Absolutely. The only people who fail are the ones who stop trying. But you're still here, still learning, still pushing forward. And that means you are already on the path to success.
Learning English is like climbing a mountain. Some days it's easy, some days it's tough, and sometimes you feel like giving up. But trust me, the higher you climb, the better the view. Every single effort you make is taking you closer to fluency.
So don't stress too much. Take a deep breath, put a smile on your face, and trust the process. Because today, we're going to help you make this journey easier and faster.
That's right. In today's episode, we're talking about the best ways to learn English. What are the right methods? What are the biggest mistakes that slow you down? And what can you do today to start seeing real progress?
If you've been wondering, am I learning English the right way? Or why is fluency taking so long? Then stay with us. We've got some powerful tips that will change the way you learn forever.
So, are you ready? Let's start this journey with a smile and a lot of positive energy.
Hello, my friend. Before we talk about the best ways to learn English, let's take a step back and think. What's really stopping you? Because let's be honest, everyone struggles with different things when learning a new language. Some people find grammar confusing. They say I goes instead of I went, or they can't figure out when to use can and when to use could. They keep making the same mistakes over and over again, and it gets frustrating.
Then, there are those who have trouble with speaking. They understand English when they hear it, but when they try to talk, the words just don't come out right. It's like their brain knows what to say, but their tongue refuses to cooperate.
And for some, forming sentences is the biggest challenge. They know the words, but when they try to put them together, something feels off. It's like a puzzle where a few pieces are always missing.
And let's not forget about practice. A lot of people keep thinking, I want to practice, but how? Where do I start? They wish they had a friend to talk to, someone who wouldn't laugh at their mistakes.
Some people want a place to practice speaking, maybe an online platform where they can have real conversations and improve their fluency. But they don't know where to find such opportunities.
And then there are those who don't even know what their problem is. They just know they want to learn English, but they're not sure what's holding them back.
That's why I want you to take a moment right now. Pause this podcast for a few seconds and ask yourself, what is my biggest challenge with English? Is it grammar, confidence, pronunciation, lack of practice?
Figuring out your problem is the first step towards solving it. And don't worry, whatever it is, we've got you covered.
In this episode, we'll break down the best ways to learn English, methods that actually work. So, if you're ready to make real progress, let's get started. Hello, my friend. Today we're going to dive deep into one of the trickiest areas of the English language, tenses. Now, some of you might be thinking, tenses? Oh, I'm good at that. But others might say, tenses? That's where I always get stuck. Don't worry. We're going to test where you stand. I'll give you a couple of sentences. Some will be correct, and others will be confusing. You'll need to decide which one is right. Ready to test your skills?
All right, let's jump into the first challenge. Pay close attention. I'll give you two sentences. One is right, the other, well, not so much. Here we go. By the time I reached the station, the train left. By the time I reached the station, the train had left. Which one is correct?
Did you figure it out? The correct answer is, by the time I reached the station, the train had left. Why? Because we're talking about two actions in the past. When two events happen in the past, and one happens before the other, we use past perfect. In this case, had left is the correct choice. But I bet some of you thought the first sentence was correct. Why? Maybe you've heard people say it that way. Or maybe you're just not sure how to use the tenses correctly. Either way, it's time to fix that.
All right, let's make it a bit more interesting. I have another question for you. Listen carefully. If she studied harder, she will pass the exam. If she studied harder, she would pass the exam. Which one is correct?
The correct sentence is, if she studied harder, she would pass the exam. Now, you might be wondering, why isn't will correct here? This is a second conditional sentence. It talks about an imaginary or unreal situation. And when we talk about unreal conditions in the present or future, we use would instead of will. It's a common mistake to use will in second conditionals, and that's why many learners get confused. But don't worry, you're not alone in this.
Okay, now let's try something that confuses many learners. Active versus passive voice. I'll give you two sentences again. One is correct and one is wrong. Pay close attention. A new mall will build in the city next year. A new mall will be built in the city next year. Which one is correct?
The correct sentence is, a new mall will be built in the city next year. Why? When you're using passive voice, you need to use the structure be plus past participle. In this case, will be built is the correct form. But I know it's easy to get confused because active and passive voices can look similar. You might have mixed up the structure and thought the first sentence was correct.
Let's keep going and test you with something a bit more advanced. Ready for the challenge? Here we go. I wish I was a millionaire. I wish I were a millionaire. Which one is correct?
The correct sentence is, I wish I were a millionaire. Wait, what? Why is it were and not was? Well, my friend, this is the subjunctive mood, used to talk about imaginary or hypothetical situations. Even though it might sound strange, we use were instead of was when talking about wishes or unreal conditions. This can be confusing, but understanding it will help you sound more fluent and natural in English.
Okay, here's a final challenge for you. Let's test your knowledge of present perfect. I have been knowing him for 5 years. I have known him for 5 years.
The correct
Which one is
sentence
correct?
is, I have known him for 5 years. Why? Because the verb know is a stative verb, and stative verbs don't take the continuous form. That's why I have been knowing is incorrect. It's a common mistake, and now you know.
Now let's talk about why this happens. Why do so many learners make these mistakes, even after studying grammar? The answer is simple. Practice makes perfect. If you're only reading about tenses and never using them in real conversations, then these mistakes will keep happening. Why? Because speaking and using the language is the key to internalizing grammar rules. If you've been feeling confused about tenses, it's because you haven't practiced speaking enough. So, my friend, if you found this test easy, congratulations, you're on the right track. But if you had any doubts, don't worry, you're not alone. Now, I want you to tell me in the comments, did you feel confident about your tenses? Did you feel any confusion during the test?
If you felt confused, that means you need more practice. It's okay to make mistakes. We all do. But now you know what areas you need to work on. And don't forget, If you want me to make a full, detailed video on tenses, covering all the rules, examples, and more, just let me know in the comments, and I'll create a video specifically for you.
Until then, remember, practice is the key to improving your grammar. Keep speaking, keep listening, and keep learning. You'll get better every day. And trust me, once you get a handle on tenses, English will become a whole lot easier and more fun.
My friend, let's talk about something that almost every English learner struggles with. You know those moments when you know exactly what you want to say, but you open your mouth and nothing. Your mind goes blank. Your tongue feels heavy. You feel the pressure to speak, but the words just don't come out. Sounds familiar? Well, trust me, you are not alone. This is one of the biggest problems English learners face. And today, my co-host Ethan and I are going to break it down, find out why this happens, and, most importantly, fix it.
That's right, Emily. Speaking English can feel like an impossible task, even if you understand everything when you read or listen. Maybe you've spent years learning grammar, memorizing vocabulary, and watching English movies. But the moment you need to speak, you freeze. Why does this happen? And how can we fix it? Well, my friend, by the end of this episode, you'll have a clear solution.
All right, before we begin, let's test your speaking ability. I'll give you 2 sentences. One is correct, and one has a mistake. Can you guess which one is right? Here we go. Which sentence is correct? 1. I have seen him yesterday. 2. I saw him yesterday. Think about it for a second. Which one is correct?
If you're thinking, wait, both sound okay to me, then you might have a problem with tenses. Okay, let's try another one. Which sentence sounds more natural? 1. She suggested me to take the job. 2. She suggested that I take the job. Did you get confused? If you had to think for more than 2 seconds, it means your brain is still translating instead of speaking naturally. And that, my friend, is the real problem.
All right, let's break this problem into 3 major reasons why words just don't come out. 1. You don't have enough speaking practice. Many learners read English. Many learners listen to English. But how often do you actually speak?
This is the biggest mistake. If you never practice speaking, your brain doesn't get used to forming sentences quickly. Think about it. If you wanted to learn swimming, would you just watch videos about swimming? Or would you actually get in the water?
Exactly. Speaking is a skill. You need to train your mouth, your tongue, and your brain to work together. Otherwise, when you try to speak, your brain is like, wait, how do I say this? And by the time you think of the right words, the conversation has already moved on. The second problem, you're afraid of making mistakes. Many learners think, what if I say something wrong? What if people laugh at me? And guess what happens? You hesitate, you doubt yourself. And in the end, you say nothing.
But here's the truth. Even native English speakers make mistakes. The difference is, they don't care. When you listen to native speakers, you'll hear them say things like, he don't know, instead of he doesn't know. Me and my friend went there, instead of my friend and I went there. Are these mistakes? Yes. But do people still understand them? Absolutely. So instead of worrying about being perfect, focus on being understood.
Third problem, your brain is stuck in translation mode. Now, here's the real reason why words don't come out. You're still thinking in your native language. You're translating every word in your head before you speak, and that slows you down.
Think about this. When a native speaker wants to say something, they don't stop to think about grammar rules. They just say it. But if you're still translating, your brain is like, okay, I need to say I'm hungry. But wait, should I use am or is? And do I say hungry or hungriness? By the time you figure it out, the moment is gone.
All right, now that we know why this happens, let's talk about solutions. 1. Train your brain to think in English. Instead of translating in your head, practice thinking directly in English. Try this. When you see something, describe it in English. That's a blue car. Talk to yourself in English. I need to buy milk today. Set your phone and apps to English. The more you surround yourself with English, the more natural it becomes.
2. Speak every day, even if you're alone. If you don't have anyone to practice with, don't worry. Read aloud from a book. Repeat what you hear in English videos. Record yourself speaking and listen back. Just like working out at the gym, the more you practice, the stronger your speaking muscles become.
If you want a 24/7 live chat video on this channel, where you can practice English by chatting with others in real time, just let me know. Imagine a space where you can connect with other learners, ask questions, and improve your English through conversation anytime you want. No need to wait for a partner or a teacher. Just join a chat and start talking. Think about it. Whenever you feel like practicing, you can just open the video, join the chat, and start typing in English. You can discuss topics, ask doubts, or just have casual conversations. The best way to learn English is by using it daily, and this will give you a chance to do that. So, what do you think? Would a 24/7 live chat video help you improve? If yes, drop a comment and let me know. And when you comment, write in English. Don't worry about mistakes. This is all about practice. The more you write, the better you'll get. Tell me, my friend, what's your biggest problem in learning English? Share it in the comments.
If you found this video helpful, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe for more engaging content to improve your English. Keep practicing and take care.